So A24, the production company that brought us such delights as X, Midsummer and Men, are now back with the movie Talk to Me. But is this film a exercise in futility? Is this film a conversation I wish that I never had? Let us find out. Hello everyone, welcome back to the channel. Welcome to my review for the 2023 horror movie Talk to Me. Rated 15, runtime of 95 minutes. Comes at us directed by Danny and Michael Philippou, and it is written by Danny Philippou, Bill Hinzman and Daley Pearson. And it stars a cast of young individuals who have about as much range as a vegetable between them, and who are a complete tick box exercise in wokeism. I hate the word woke, but there we go. And it also stars Miranda Otto, who you may recognise from the Lord of the Rings movies. The only reason I watched this film is because of a long-time channel supporter, Stephen Luther, who actually messaged me and said, "Have you seen this film?" I said, "Nope, I haven't." One of those films that would just pass me by. That being said, I had about 2 hours spare, so thusly I put it on and I watched it. And here I am now. That brings me sat here talking to you about this disastrous film from A24. It's awful. Why is it awful? Well, the basic premise for the film is actually quite solid. You have these kids that have this embalmed hand. Don't worry about where they got it from. They don't. And when they hold on to it and say, "Talk to me," a dead person appears, basically, and sort of takes over their body. Only if they take over the body for more than 90 seconds, they will inhabit. That door will be left open and they will come into our world essentially through this body. So this is an analogy. This is used as an analogy for drugs, essentially. These kids, these young teens are all getting off on this and they're getting excited by it, and they need their fix, they need their hit, and they keep stepping up to the mark. Yes, let me do it, let me do it, let me do it. Until one of them, the main protagonist of the film, she overstays the mark just slightly, and another kid overstays the mark who takes on her mother, and then stuff starts happening. Now, the film is structured poorly. It is a very poorly structured film in the sense that you've got a 95-minute runtime and it takes 42 minutes until anything of consequence actually happens. The 42 minutes before that are a character building time, which sounds good. However, none of your characters are of any interest whatsoever. They are all dull and they are all expressionless, and this is a cast of characters that I wouldn't even watch if they were on Neighbours. It's an Australian production, by the way. So we have a decent setup. We have a decent concept for a film, but executed badly. Things ramp up a little bit after that 42-minute mark, and then stuff does start to happen. But by the end of the film, we are actually left with so many questions as to exactly what has gone on. The main girl, I'm going to spoil this now, so jump away if you don't want to know. The main girl who is being driven by these spirits to enact these atrocious goings-on, much like she's been on this drug-fueled bender, and now the drugs have taken control and making her do things that are very out of character. Like I said, it's an analogy. She gets hit by a car, but we don't know whether she's been pushed in front of that car. She don't know if she's sacrificed herself in front of that car, and we don't know why. We don't know how the young lad who is possessed, how this frees him up or anything like this. There's so many questions left unanswered. It's a very fractured movie in its storytelling, in its build-up. The final scene of the film gives us a sort of juxtaposition of the start of the film, of where the main girl is at and this sort of a thing, which is quite a nice ending to the film. But unfortunately, I think that the ending of the film came first. That was their idea, and then they built backwards upon it, giving us this woeful, character-driven nonsense that is they don't know how to write characters, basically. The film as a concept, like I said, is okay, but only okay as a 45-minute episode of something like The Twilight Zone. That's what this essentially boils down to. You've got a concept that would be fantastic, structured on a shorter basis, a shorter runtime, stretched out to an elongated runtime, thus giving you 42 minutes of rubbish at the beginning, and then you get happenings going on. Yeah, it's one of those concepts that is much better, would be better suited to a smaller short screen runtime. And that is what we are left with, a film that ultimately feels like a throwaway episode of The Twilight Zone. It's not well acted. It's very dull to look at. The colour palette is very muted within this film. There's no discernible score in the film that's noticeable at all. And like I said, all the characters are a tick box exercise in wokeism, which is a major issue in film today. Disastrous effort. Rubbish. Nonsense. Never watch again. 2 weeks' time, this film, I won't even remember it. Guarantee you that.